The
Yeah, Patricia, would you mind muting yourself? Hello, everyone. This is the third session of our fourth Climate Supper. The Climate Supper is the third assignment of the Food and Climate Shaper digital bootcamps. And as you can assume, this is the fourth edition what we are running. The bootcamp is actually 1 year old because the very first prototype was born out of necessity last July. And that's where we also had someone running a digital convivia for us. And he is here today. I will very shortly introduce him as well. But basically, this Climate Supper is for all of our participants from all over the world. And they got an assignment to organize an event with their own communities and have very conscious conversations about our food choices and how they have an influence on our planet and on our own health. This time, we are also partnering with the Chef's Manifesto of the SDG2 Advocacy Hub. And the three of their chefs are actually active participants of the bootcamp. They became the squad leaders of these three sessions because we are covering three of the thematic areas of the Chef's Manifesto. And this session will focus on how to value natural resources and reduce waste. So we have one chef who will start and explain you a bit more about this thematic area. And I also have another member of the network with me who will be my co-host. So let me introduce you to Patricia and Connor, who are both dialing in from the UK, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Delighted to be here. It's great.
So Connor, you hosted a very amazing digital convivia around biodiversity a year ago for our digital.
A year ago, yeah. Hard to believe it was a year ago. Yeah. And look, yeah, and it's great, and I'm delighted how I think what you're doing today is absolutely brilliant. Like bringing everyone together around food, but also having really these great discussions. That's what it's all about. So I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody, meeting everybody and seeing what's going on.
Thank you. Nice to have you here. So Patricia, the stage is yours. Please tell us what you prepared for this thematic area and how did you end up being part of the Chef's Manifesto? A bit of a background story, please. You are muted. Still.
Yeah, now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm Patricia Nunes. I am chef, I'm a holistic chef, and I'm part of the Chef's Manifesto since the beginning. I was invited by Arthur to come one day and, see what was going on at Onvet Gardens, and I could meet all these amazing chefs there doing an amazing work towards food and climate, and bringing amazing ideas to each other and supporting each other. And as a holistic chef, I didn't have really work in the climate side of the food systems, but I just got more interest each time more. And thanks to Chef's Manifesto, I am part of the Future Food Academy today. So big thank you for the opportunity. Connor, I'm very, it's an honor to have you here in my assignment because I really admire your work. And my theme is value the natural resource and reduce food waste, or actually reduce waste in general. So what I did, I had to really try to make my supper, not wasting food, of course, and reduce as much waste I could. So what I did, I just reached the options I had. One is my cooking practice. So I try to use, as some say, root to fruit, and I tried to use everything. I was sharing the ideas today here with my guests, and that was amazing how they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. So I will show There's a bit left still. But the other thing I did, I make sure I could add to the supper was get involved with the community and see what's going on about food waste here. So there's this amazing community project called Grounded Community, which I'm already part of, volunteering their community garden. But they also have the food bank here, where they distribute food weekly. So they actually allow me to come and get some of the food they have there. So I would say that today, nutrition is not something like that I could, like a full nutrition I could guarantee maybe on the menu, because unfortunately on the food bank, you can't always find the best quality of food. But I think another time we could discuss about that as well. What, I could see there. Of course, we had like fruits and vegetables and all that, but there's other stuff that is still feeding people, thanks God. But we still have even to improve the food bank. But I'm really happy to be able to show what we have here. Should I start showing in the food?
Yes, please.
Oh, I also use the apps, the apps that share food. So like the food heroes that they're like sharing what they have, like bananas. There are people that are just like giving away bananas, and bananas, we know, like bread, banana, potatoes, it's wasting a huge amount. So we're gonna have bread and bananas here today. So to start with, I think I'm gonna read the menu as I go. So for the drinks, we make here, we have some, of course, corner, we have some kombucha from frozen watermelon. That's a way of preserving food, frozen the fruit that's already overripe and overripe, and then you don't need to throw away. You can froze them and make something with them later. Also, we have here some apple juice, cucumber water with fresh mint and sparkling water. So here I use the cucumber water to make the drink, but here, which is left, sorry, I could use the pulp of the cucumber, and I mixed it with some peas that I could get from the food bank, and with some other herbs stocks that I also had. The bread, there's some bread from the food bank as well. Every Friday they they collect for the week. They have usually on Fridays 100 kilos of wasted bread every Friday. So of course I had to, get some bread for us. And so here we have the bread. We're putting now here on the bonfire, on the grill. So we got this bread from the food bank. She supporting our supper. And also I received so many bananas. Some of them was really brown, with the skin very brown already, but we create 3 recipes from them. So this is, like pulled pork. That's not what it is. It's I give a number to it. It's pulled banana peels with aubergine, bell pepper, celery, onions, pinto beans, and white garlic that came from our community garden, the white garlic. So here we have Patrick serving.
Pulled pork, yummy.
Super plant-based. Thank you. And so we're gonna I'm making some overripe banana and peanut sorbet as well. It's in the freezer, and I will be serving that with some banana compote, because we had to separate the bananas because some are really, really dark. So I'm like, this tastes better, with the compote. This one is gonna taste better in the sorbet. The skins we clean. There's a whole process to not let them to be very astringent. So we went through the process, and then I could cook them as a pulled pork version. So we're gonna have this dessert, overripe banana peanut sorbet, served with childhood banana compote, because my grandma used to do that and I love it. And you're gonna have some fresh marigold petals for garnish from our grounded garden as well. We are the community garden. And we have some coleslaw. Cabbage many times is also wasted. So we have some white cabbage coleslaw with green apples, also from the food bank, with some sunflower seed, parsley, and plant-based mayonnaise. Basically, it's pretty much like this.
Amazing. So what do you think was the most surprising for the community from the table?
I think one of the things was like how many breads are wasted. And even though they send the crates, they send the box to the community, and they leave some, or like there's a huge box out of the church. It's the food bank and church together, and like people can just pass by and get some, but sometimes there's some left over because there's not many people that know, so you need to tell them. But that's where comes the nutritional side as well, because they're like many times like just really white bread. And that's the we can't really guarantee the quality of the wheat, which you also can sometimes if you keep going on that diet with refined flour that's not from a good crop, then also you can end up like compromising your digestive system and develop chronic disease. So I wish they could have a better bread, but glad they can get fed. But they love the whole, they really like the idea, the initiative of the Future Food Academy. I told them they're a baby, they're just 1 year, and they love like how, actually it's important to work on innovations and, be open-minded. I talked to them about the dormant possibilities that we could explore. They really got interested. I was talking about how we can make that profitable, monetize this waste, and they're super engaged. It's a shame that my neighbors didn't come. To be honest, I didn't expect they would come because they're really close. That's why I want to call them, just to push a bit. I will try again.
Some leftover, you can just knock on their door later.
Look what you missed.
Exactly.
But they can see me here. Like it looks really nice, and they can see from the window. But I don't know. There's many of them. They're not here actually. They're nice people. Come on. It's just that I don't know. That's the challenge, isn't it? Like we really need the community, but it's not always that the community is there, like ready. So we need to actually work on getting us together and be persistent and be empathic, because also they're going through different processes in their lives. So just don't give up.
It's a very great advice. Meanwhile, I just see that Justin also joined us. Sorry, Conor, we will get back to your question. Hi, Justin. Okay, maybe he cannot hear us. Anyway, Conor, do you have a question?
Well, it's more of a comment than questions. I love the fact that you're highlighting the whole food bank, because to me, that is so important in combating food waste, is the work that food banks do. Not only do they combat food waste, but they get food to people that don't necessarily have access to good food. So the work they do is so important. And I love the fact that you highlight that, and also the fact that modern technology in terms of apps and so on, where people can share surplus food to other people that may need it. And it's this use of modern technology that really helps us to prevent food waste. And I just, I think what you do is fantastic. Definitely my kind of food. I love bananas and doing everything with them. So seeing pull banana skins and I think it's brilliant. I think you really capture what can be done and how what people might see as surplus food or food waste can be really, really tasty. I think it's great. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
I also could share some slides with some videos with them. I was able to bring my TV out here, so I was showing them some of the materials that we have available, and they really enjoyed. I'm glad that you did too. Thanks so much.
And just one other thing, I'm just conscious as well. So your guests there, what did they feel about not only the bread and everything, but seeing that that food was going to waste and now they were eating perfectly good food and really tasty? Did it open their minds? Did it, or like, were they shocked? Were they kind of...
You know, that's a funny thing because actually my guests here today, so I invite my neighbors, but I invite some friends just in case, you know, and also they really want to help. They're like, "Pat, how can I help?" And they all contribute somehow. So my friends, they're actually quite open-minded, but I was surprised that actually they still get very surprised. So, you know, when I say about the pulled banana peels, they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they eat and they're like, "Oh, that's nice." So it's I think it's endless what we can do and how we can inspire each other. And that was it was a lesson for me today as well, because when I saw them here, I was like, okay guys, a lot of what I'm going to share you kind of know, but still there's always something else that we can get from each other, so let's do it anyway. So but yeah, they kind of also was like inspired somehow, and I could see we did a reflection about the dormant resource, and they get engaged. And actually we have a whole plan for the end of our night here. We're gonna do some meditation together. We're gonna do some card games. We have like an artist here. They want to sing a song about community with us. So we're gonna keep going still, and you know, be able to make some more reflections.
Amazing, well done.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Patricia. And before I hand over to the next participant, I just want to ask you, how did the briefing go with the other participants? Because you got this assignment before to brief the other participants about this thematic area. So how did that go? Because they all have different backgrounds, so they might have had different experiences with the same topic.
But I didn't understand, Julia. What was the question? How was the briefing with the other participants? You know, that you had the meeting with the other participants who are also in this session, introducing them to this thematic area. So how were they responding to the assignment? And were they already familiar with such recipes like the banana peel in a pulled version and so on? Or did they need extra help to come up with recipes? So actually, they didn't really go in touch.
Okay.
So I think they're doing super well, which I'm happy, you know, because I shared with them, like, guys, please, if you need to reach out, I send them a PDF with some details that, you know, that could help. What I share with them, it's pretty much what I did here as well. And yeah, I think they're doing super well. And I have to say that I couldn't really follow everyone today. I will watch our records because I've been super busy.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know that. Everyone is busy for the day of the climate supper. You have to pull off a full event. So thank you so much.
But there's one thing, sorry, Julia, that I could see that we all sharing similar emotions, because we had to, it doesn't matter. I know that like it's not a big event, something small, but it's still, you know, like be responsible to kind of deliver a message. We all felt like, okay, we can do that among us, and we can do that, you know, in different areas. And but sometimes when you just like on the spot as well, that, you know, you're gonna be like this 3 hours, or don't know how many hours you could like you intend to make your event, but you know, be responsible for all that. And it's such an important message. So we all sharing that emotions of like how it's going to be, but yeah, it'll be fine, you know, we support each other about that, like it will be okay. And what's more, like in the breakup rooms, that we always got a bit of space and like, let's talk about the supper. So I was kind of not just talk to my group, but to my whole colleagues here and there, but not very specific. But it was nice to share that we were feeling kind of the same and we're there for each other.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patricia. I'll let you go back to your guests.
Thanks so much.
Be a great host. And we will travel now to South America. And we have our next participant online. Let me see if she is still. Laura, are you there?
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao. Thank you, Connor.
Hi.
Hi, Laura. How are you?
Maybe I'll just start introducing myself.
I cannot really hear you well. Would you mind holding the phone or whatever device is taking your voice closer? Thank you.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, amazing. So yes, I think most of you already know me. Colombian, I am a chef, and I have been working for the last 2 years in kitchens. So the last job I had was actually a restaurant that is called Central here in Lima. And I started to learn a lot about ingredients, about like connections between people, communities. So I started to get really interested in all these kinds of topics. And now from social gastronomy, I got the opportunity to get into this bootcamp. So it's been pretty great for me. And today I have actually, I'm going to show you now, I have my parents with me. So we are a little bit restricted now.
Hi.
But yes. So right now we are just gonna be the three of us, and I may have a couple friends that like joined us for watching. So yeah, basically what I have prepared is brunch because it's a bit early here. So I just wanted to make something like where we can share a little bit more. No? So I'm gonna start a little bit with the ingredients I'm gonna use. So I think I moved on the food waste and spectacular resources. So I think that it's very important for us to take care of where we are buying things. And here in Peru, for instance, a lot of the food waste actually comes from transport and for actually like breaking the cold chain, and a lot of products go lost or go to food waste because they cannot like maintain all the way up to like cities or wherever they are sold. So I actually got all of these that I use in my dishes from an organic farm that is called Wampani. So actually with these, I made this part that is with greens. I call it like the leftover greens. Because I was using, for example, this is called pork plain, I think in English, and it's usually like the kind of plants that you cut off because they're not useful. And I was using the greens from the radishes, and I also have like some sweet chard that I added to it. Then I have on the sweeter side of things, I have the yogurt that is made from the same chakra, from the same farm. And I have this like sort of granola that is made with golden cacao. So for me, cacao is pretty great when we're talking about this because we all use the extract.
Laura, I'm sorry to interrupting you.
Yes.
I just want to ask, are you using the microphone of your phone or are you using another device? Because we cannot really hear you well. And I'm afraid we are missing some of
like
the information. What you, it's
Is
way
it better now?
Yes, super, amazing. But now we lost the picture.
Is it better right now?
Yes, it's perfect. Thank you. So we
Wait,
lost
no,
you.
I cannot hear you.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now it's good.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, did you catch all the things that I was saying before?
Almost. I think we lost you with at the yogurt.
Oh, great. So it's just the last bit.
Exactly.
So yeah, I have this yogurt that it's also coming from the same farm. And then I was using the chocolate. So I was saying that for me, chocolate is like a great way of like showing how we use just a little bit of the product actually. So this is all coming from a community in Cusco that it's called Quillabamba. And then I was using like the cacao nibs. I was using as well the chocolate powder and the whole chocolate. And then this is like the sort of granola that was coming from this. They actually use everything. They use the shells. They use like the pulp of the cacao. And they are selling everything like on the side, especially to like restaurants or people that are a bit more interested in gastronomy. So it's pretty cool on that side. Then, sorry, I'm over here. I was thinking at things that I was also having in my fridge. So we were talking the other day about dormant resources, and I was thinking that we have a lot. I usually have a lot of things in my fridge that maybe we're not using. And for me, as a cook, I sometimes have a bit of trouble working with food waste or thinking about how to use food waste, because I also want like to achieve all these like high-end quality. And for me, stews are a great way to do that. So I took just a bunch of things or like leftover vegetables I had in my fridge, and I made like a sort of shakshuka. So I was having like chilies, tomatoes, leeks. I was having like some greens as well. And also here I just wanted to think about like whenever we go shopping and then we buy all these like vegetables, and a really good way of like making sure you use them is making like base sauces, and then you can also cook really quickly. So it's sort of like what I was trying to do here. Just moving over here. Another great way for me to like keep things, it's escabeches. So it's like keeping food a little bit longer. And here as well, you can use like basically whatever you have, and you can just like put it in escabeche. I was using this vinegar that it's actually coming from wine makers. So they are also using like some things that they didn't work as wine, and they are producing actually the wine vinegar, no? Have multigrain bread and some pickles as well that I made for the occasion. And then finally, I just wanted to go over the drinks. So actually, one of my dad's favorite drink, it's just like carrot and orange juice. And I realized we have a lot of waste from it, because when you make the carrot extract, then we're having all this like pulp left over. So we were making pancakes out of it. And then we also have like all the outside of the orange. So I was just making like a ferment with just 5% salt. And then I'll just keep it with some weight on. And in a few months, it's going to be like a couple of weeks, it's going to be great. Then I also have kombucha. I'm always making actually kombucha from especially like herbs that I have like leftover. So I'm making just like the infusion, and I put it to ferment. And just this is the last bit. I also bought this drink that it's actually like a ferment that it's made from this root. This root is oca. And it's actually very interesting because this reminded me of a conversation we were having with the social gastronomy movement about looking back to move forward. So what this producer, his name is Manuel Choque, he's actually my local discovery. What he's doing, it's going back at using like these ocas. They may not be very tasty for everyone. And what he does is he leaves them under the sun so they become a little bit sweeter. And with this, he's making the ferment that we are going to drink today. So I think it's pretty interesting work. So many times we have products that are amazing and we just don't really know how to use them. And for me, it is like a great way. And just to finish off, I have a little bit of like plateware that we are using. And this is actually a table mat that it's made also in a community in Cusco. And what they're doing is, I was also talking to my friend that he's working in the agro sector. And there is a lot of like waste also in like the farms. So this is, for example, made with all the fibers that are left from actually farming. So this is from corn, is the corn husks. And then all the little parts and everything, it's like dyed with leftover, like whatever is left from the farm. So they have like some colors that are coming from leaves that are maybe just like they cut them off because they don't want them anymore, and they are extracting the colors. So I thought it was a pretty way to serve them as well. And yes, that's basically the whole thing.
It looks amazing. Thank you, Laura. Before we go more in detail about your menu, would you mind saying a few words about the social gastronomy movement for our audience?
Yes, amazing. I actually met Nikki like a few years back, and I just like heard her speak, and I thought what she was doing was amazing and was very close to what we were also seeing at the restaurant. And I actually jumped in a Clubhouse meeting, and they called me back, and it's been just amazing. We made a few dialogues for the UN, and it's very interesting. Then you get all these like insights and all this like feedback, and it's just like really good way to connect also with other people, and you get a lot of like empathy, because then you meet a lot of people that they're doing so many amazing things with gastronomy. So I think it's just like an amazing group.
Very nice. So Connor, do you have some points to highlight with Laura's
Yeah,
menu?
sorry. I just, first of all, it looks absolutely fantastic and I'm really hungry now looking at that fantastic food. Just one thing that's really close to my heart, and I was delighted that you had it there, was the pickles and so on. Can you go, what were you pickling there? Was that some of the stalks from the radishes, or what was it from previous food?
Yes, it's actually from previous food. I'm going to show you on the other side. I have this one that it's chili. It's called ajilimo in Peru. Then I have just like some asparagus pickles that is actually from a friend. We were trying out some like different pickles. He gave this to me, and then just like good old cornichons.
Oh, brilliant. And I love seeing that. And obviously it adds that whole depth of flavor as well to another meal from a previous meal, which is great to see. And I love the colors and everything. And just back, sorry, to your left, the carrot, was it the carrot you have? Yeah. Can you explain a bit more? I couldn't really hear. What's in that?
This bit?
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
So it's like escabeche. That is just like a technique where you're using like oil and vinegar and you're basically like preserving whatever food you make. So this one is actually made with stuff that I also had in my fridge. So it's like mushrooms, carrots, onions, and then I put like some herbs that were there for a while. So yeah, you can just make it of whatever you want for really, and then you can just keep it and use it in, the idea is now we eat it with the bread. You can just use it like in a sandwich or whatever.
Delicious. No, look, well done. It looks absolutely fantastic. Very, very hungry looking at it.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Laura, we noticed you have some friends joining us. Maybe you want to introduce some of them and let us know who they are, what they do.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I would really have wanted to make this meal as well with them, but here the COVID restrictions are a bit strict for now. So basically, one of them, it's Priscilla. It's one of my friends that was the first one that started talking to me about all of these like more sustainable ways and like organic farms. And she actually introduced me to Wampani. And we've been like talking about these things for years. So yeah, I wish she should have been here like cooking with me and everything, because she's also like a food enthusiast. And then I have a couple of friends that are actually from school. They are always like listening and hearing me like rant about all of this stuff, but they're really working on like different things. But I've been like for so many years always focusing on food, and sometimes I actually do give them a little bit stuff to try, or I cook with them. And then one of my other friends, I just met him on an NGO, and it's actually pretty cool because he works in the agro fields. He's a agronomist, so I'm also learning like a lot of stuff from like proper things. So many times you say things as a cook and then you realize it's not like the reality, and it's not as easy, and sometimes it's very creative to be a cook, but then it's not as easy, for example, as what I was saying for the transport of food, or what is the actual reality like in the fields, no?
Amazing. That's so interesting. I think that we connect with different actors in the food system to understand these the different challenges we all face. And I just wanted to ask about that producer who you also interviewed for your local discovery. So
yes.
how did you meet? Was he part of your ecosystem map already at the beginning? Is that a longer term connection already, or did you discover this produce just recently?
No, I actually met him a while back. He's giving food also to Central. So like the roots and everything are part of what we were using at the restaurant. And I just met him like 4 years ago, and I loved what he had to say. Like, he has worked so hard on like really studying and making things better. And he just has like this goal that he wants to make potatoes as healthy as possible. So he's like doing this cross-pollination, and for sure you're gonna know a lot more about him in the local discovery. But for me, he was just amazing. So actually, when I went to Cusco, I went to meet him, And I went to his farm, and then he showed me actually how everything was working. And he just does like an amazing job. And actually this drink, it's like top notch. It's very, very tasty. It's very balanced. And it's just amazing that it's coming from a root that so many times we joke in Colombia, because there is like this dish that includes this root and no one is actually eating it. And then he's making this like super fancy, delicious thing out of it. And then just like surprise us all, you know?
So why is that root not so popular, or why is it not so much liked by the consumers?
Yes, the thing is that there are some roots that are actually not like as tasty. So when you eat it like boiled, no? So for instance, this root, what they are doing now, it's allowing it to stay under the sun for a little bit longer. So it's becoming sweeter and then it's tastier, no? But then you have, I was working also in a project with a root that it's called mauca. And basically like no one wanted it, but it's like super healthy. It helps like fix nitrogen. It's just like a very good ingredient, but then no one was wanting it because the flavor was like a little bit tricky. And we were making different trials in the kitchen as well. And we ended up doing this like ferment that it's sort of like a tucupi. So it's like a ferment and then you leave it cooking, that it's from the jungle actually. And it was pretty nice actually. And it has like so much starch. So they could just like take all the starch from it and you can make so many things. So I hope it's not like getting lost or forgotten, no?
Amazing. Well, Laura, I saw that your parents might be a bit hungry now. And they are just watching the table, the set in front of them. So I think I will leave you to it, and please enjoy all the delicious food what you prepared. And if you want, stay online and watch the others and the dishes what they are preparing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much. It's a great opportunity.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So now we are traveling back to Europe. I think we have Roberta from Italy already online. Hi, Roberta.
Ciao, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hi. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. So tell us, what have you prepared? How did you interpret the thematic area?
I would say the challenge in this case, because I had like zero food waste team, which is, it is a struggle for two reasons. First of all, because it is hard not to waste any part of the food that you're using. And second of all, because I do have a problem with rotten food or expiring food, which is also food waste. For example, I do have a garden and my mom loves to cultivate a lot of vegetables because she has her home restaurant. But for example, if she forgot to pick up vegetables, then they get extra big and maybe, they're not that good anymore. So you don't know how to use it. And that's an issue as well. So eventually I always end up throwing up something, like wasting and trashing it. So today I used the, like some zucchini. Maybe I can show you. I'm with my like PC, but I guess, yeah, we can do like this.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the final recipe. This zucchini, as you can see, they are like this big. So they are overgrown and you can't really, if they cook it, then they are too watery. So they're not really tasty. And you usually give it to animals actually. So I decided today to use it for my zero food waste recipe. So I was doing like so I kind of craved the zucchini. I was trying to save the inner part of the zucchini. Then I cooked the edge, let's say. And then I prepared this kind of like filling stuffing for the zucchini with some carrots, onions from my garden with the inner part that I was craving later. Some cheese that was almost expired and some tomatoes from my garden as well. So this is like, like a food that, like a dish that tried to save the situation when everything is up to expire and you just want to cook it. And that's the result. I think it's pretty nice. Unfortunately, tonight I'm here alone because of COVID restrictions. So I don't really feel like inviting people home. but I will give it tomorrow to my mom and see if it's approved, you know, by a serious chef.
Yeah. So, so you say you have a garden.
Yeah.
Is there any way when something is a bit overripe or like getting to on the way to the garbage that you actually turn it into compost or something what you can use in your garden?
We do have our own, like being in the countryside, it's really easy to have our own, you know, like compost area in the garden as well. So yeah, with food, especially even with, you know, like, yeah, rotten food, but also, you know, usually food waste in the sense of like, you know, peels and leftovers. We kind of tend to like put it there, leave it there for like a year, and then just dig it back and use it for the garden. Or we can even sell it. It's not mandatory, or we give it for free to our friends because it's actually very nutritious for the ground, since it has a lot of rest, a lot of leftovers from food. We do try to have these, but we're trying, first of all, not to waste food, of course. Yeah, can you hear me? Because I see the connection
We can
is not
still hear you.
stable.
The image is a bit like, yeah, it's not really clear, but we can still hear you.
Not perfect. Okay. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're basically trying to, you know, use only our vegetables, not to buy it from the supermarket or even from, you know, like fruit or vegetable sellers, which in our area are not that ethical, let's say. So it is really interesting because then a lot of people are passionate about our garden, and our friends ask us, can we have some zucchini? Can we have some, I don't know, tomatoes? And we're really happy to share this kind of ingredients because, first of all, even if you have, you know, like 2 straws of tomatoes, they're gonna grow for the whole summer, and it's really hard to keep up with that amount of tomatoes or vegetables that you produce. So it's really nice to give it to friends, because then even if you're not directly doing something for the market, you are helping people not to buy from the market, you know. So that's really interesting. And also we're also doing something very nice with wine and vinegar, because having a restaurant, a lot of time it happens that we have leftovers from bottles of wine. So my mom is saving all the leftovers and she's producing vinegar, which is also super nice. And fun fact, it doesn't expire, so you can keep it forever, and it's always really nice.
Wow, that's a good tip. I mean, I don't really face the problem of having leftover wine most of the time, let's be honest, but that's a good tip for restaurants at least. Yes.
Yeah, for restaurants.
Does your family preserve things too at the end of the season, or do you have any particular recipes you like to do?
We don't have like special techniques for preserving food or, you know, like vegetables, so on and so forth. Apart from, you know, like, I don't really know how it is in English, like sweet and sour vegetables, like you put under vinegar and olive oil, and then you do this kind of mix and you put it in a jar, and then that's gonna last like for months, of course. And that's a really smart technique because it's not even that dangerous, because when you use only olive oil, then there is a certain risk that maybe you get, you know, like bacteria that you don't really want to eat. So that's one technique, and a lot of jam, like a ton of jam, I would say. So, but yeah, but then, you know, even in that case, like to consume everything we do produce, it's really hard, even because a lot of time it happens to me that maybe I do not eat home. So I don't have the chance to, you know, to consume that food, because I'm kind of forced to use, you know, like to use panini, to grab a sandwich somewhere. So that's also an issue, the fact that we don't really have that time schedule for what we come back for lunch and for dinner every time at home. And that's, I think it's pretty common, but we kind of have this new lifestyle for which we do have lunch at work, we do have dinner outside because we maybe have an aperitivo or something like this. And this kind of change also your lifestyle when it comes to production, of course, if you have a garden like us, for example.
I'm just wondering, so I presume it's almost, you have to continuously find new ways to use, when you're growing your own food and it's ready when nature says it's ready. So I presume the difficulty sometimes is that maybe you're not ready for the food. So you've got to, I presume, find new ways and be more inventive around, as you said, tomatoes, zucchinis, you know, maybe you don't want to use them yet, but are you finding that you constantly have to be more inventive about new ways of using up fantastic vegetables? And is that something that's constantly kind of in your mind? You know, I've got to use these zucchinis, the tomatoes.
Well, I guess creativity is a gift, and I think I'll leave it to my mom. Kind of. Sometimes I see her come in, like, you know, it's 2 p.m. She's cooking in her kitchen and she is crying or she is yelling or something like this. And I'm like, Mom, what's happening? I mean, what's wrong? And it's just because she tried a new recipe and then that recipe sucks. And she's really upset because she's wasting food and her time. And because she is a chef, so, you know, it's something about her pride, you know, like, you want everything to be perfect, but sometimes it sucks. I mean, you can't do anything without it. And and that's funny. That's a lot of fun for me because I see, even if my mom is like 62, she still struggles with the creativity, which is really, you know, like an elastic. You can really stretch it. You can get a lot out of it, and sometimes you just can't. But yes, I would say there is a constant, maybe not constant, but seasonal, that's for sure. Like each season, you kind of know what you're going to face and you have to find like some new solution. And this always goes like in parallel with the restaurant activity. So for example, if we know that we have a lot of, you know, like, I don't know, apricot jam, for example, we ask to our cook and to my mom, like, you know, let's think about a new recipe for which we can use this jam. And something always comes out. And this is, you know, really stimulating because it gives you a lot of flexibility. Maybe you don't use it for example, for, you know, like a dish, a stable dish, but you use it to a little welcome, to do a little entree for your guest. You know, you improvise a little bit. And that's also very nice because it's really connect the activity of the restaurant to what you have, to what you need to use in that moment.
Your mother sounds very passionate as well. The fact that she gets upset, that's real passion.
Yeah, she's crazy. She must be here. Like, she will attend the course next year. I will force her.
Yeah, November. Amazing. Well, Roberta, thank you so much. I would like you to enjoy the dish what you prepared, and we can't wait to actually meet your mom as well, or maybe taste those jams and whatever she is preparing at one point. Yeah. I'm very interested in the vinegar actually, because I used to make Russian dumplings called pelmenis, and they always go with melted butter, sour cream, and vinegar. And depending on the filling, I always try to pick different vinegars to match the flavors. So this is something what we might need to try. Once I come over, we make dumplings.
Yeah, please, let's do it. Are you in Bologna?
No, I am currently in Budapest, but we can change that hopefully soon.
Yes, we'll do it. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Roberta. So if you want, you can still stay with us because we will now have a bit of a roundtable discussion around the topic until we wait for our next participant from dialing in from Spain. And I see Justin is very busy, like preparing their dinner over there. So I don't know how will we catch his attention, but I would say we start our conversation. I would like to hear also Ruba and Lauren and their connection to food waste. What are their practices, or what part of this this area theme they feel more comfortable with, or researched maybe?
I kind of jump on what Patricia was showing with food she received from the like food pantry. I used to work for AmeriCorps, and we would do cooking demonstrations with food that's about to expire from the food pantry. So we would set up like a post outside and maybe take like cans of beans that like are really dirty on top. So we'd have to like make sure to like clean them. Make really simple recipes like bean, corn, vinegar, salt, pepper, red pepper, all different vegetables, make really simple summer salads, serve it with like tortilla chips that were probably also about to expire. And just people walking by, maybe doing their like weekly shopping there could come by and try it and see that like you can actually make really delicious recipes from some of these ingredients. That was one of my experiences with tackling food waste in a very like small community in Ohio. I don't know if Ruba, if you have any experience or you'd like to share.
Yeah, so I'm originally from the Middle East. I'm from Lebanon, and our cuisine is very like we have lots of varieties, and so every time we set a table, there's a huge amount of food on the table. So we have the mezze, and then we have the main dishes, and then we have the desserts. So almost all restaurants in the Middle East have a ton of food waste because sometimes people just eat 1 or 2 bites from the dish and then everything else is thrown away. So, and especially now because of financial crisis in Lebanon and so many people are not affording food. So now there are lots of movements, especially NGOs and groups that are trying to gather all this food waste and distribute it to people in need. So physically, I'm not there to join that, but of course, when I go back, I would love to be part of these initiatives. And at my home, I always encourage my family not to waste food. We always buy what we need and not more. We try to like use the first in, first out technique to like not waste anything or not like leave the food to rot. So I think we always have this in our minds that somewhere in our country people like are not finding food, so we need to practice this in our home so that we would be able to like help the community once we are there. So yeah, I think that's my experience.
Amazing. Connor and maybe Justin can join the conversation as well. From the chef perspective, I have a question. So coming back to Hungary, I still see the restaurants which are considered the best in the country are rather focusing on fine dining and cuisines which maybe are rather for our eyes very appealing, and they don't necessarily take into consideration the preparation methods. And I feel also in education here, when someone want to become a chef or in the hospitality studies, they don't really pay too much attention to the resources and how to use them the best. So how did you see that in your path while becoming a chef and working in different environments?
No, I think you're absolutely right. As chefs, we're trained to use the best of everything. So it's got to be the best of the meat. It's got to be the best part of the vegetable. And, you know, we're taught that in college, universities, we're taught that as we train within restaurants and so on. And that's what leads restaurants to be one of the biggest contributors to food waste. And that's what initially got me, I suppose, started on my entire journey around looking into a food system. I'm a long time cooking. I'm 30 years as a chef. So when I go back 20 years, when I was training, just over 20 years, that's what opened my mind, was seeing food waste, so much in restaurants and hotels, that I wasn't comfortable with it. And that's what led me to speak to chefs and train chefs to think very differently, think outside the kitchen, as I always explain to them, and really look and connect to their food. And I think it's that total disconnect, both professionally as a chef, but also as people at home. It's that entire disconnect to our food that makes it easier for us to waste it, because we don't truly value it, the work that's gone into it. And to me, the real hero of our food system is the growers, is the farmers. And so we need to protect them. And to protect them, we need to ensure that we use the best of everything. So for chefs, it's really taking an old school view of food and looking to modernize that and change that. And last year, for instance, now was my first lecturing role in a university here in Ireland. And for chefs that were doing their masters, I did a 6-month course with them on a zero waste and fermentation course. So the whole thing was to take chefs that were already trained, that were coming back to college, university to do a master's degree, so they know exactly what's going on in the industry. And I was able to show them, look, here's another view of food. Here is how a kitchen can truly respect its food and have no waste and value its natural resources, which is one of the thematic areas of the Chef's Manifesto. So it really is about thinking differently to how we were told to think. Does that make sense?
So do I understand it correctly that you are training already? So they are chefs, they already have their work experience and their own perspective, and then they come to the class. Do you see, are they open to whatever you want to show them, or are they rather resistant to these approaches?
There's both, actually. And I think a lot of it would depend on where they have worked, because and I don't mind saying this because I am a chef. I suppose a lot of chefs can be very much tunnel vision. It's this way, and there is no different way to do it. And if young chefs have worked with those chefs, then they have that exact same tunnel vision. Or you could work with chefs that have come from a more open-minded, usually younger brigade of chefs, where they are more thinking about the climate. It's not just about the end dish and how visually it looks. It's also about the entire journey of that food. So I find that a lot of it depends on the experience and where the chefs have worked previously.
Amazing. Hi, Justin. Can you hear us? Yay.
Hey, how are you?
Very good. We saw you already. I tried to reach out, but at one point you were at the fire, so I think you didn't hear me. So how is it going with your preparation?
It's good, very good. I've just been foraging this afternoon out in the Welsh countryside outside this farmhouse in the woods, collecting some cattails, bulrushes, and lots of different wild forage for our dinner. I'm here with some friends. Focusing on what local and wild food.
Amazing. So now that we talk about foraging, I will be completely transparent here. Not once in my life I did foraging. And I think I'm also scared that I don't know what could be edible and what not. So if someone is a complete beginner like me, what would be the first steps you would recommend? Maybe don't start with mushrooms, but I'm just kidding. But how can I get out there and recognize those things which are edible around me?
I think it's good to start with those people, ideally with a forager or a chef who is experienced in foraging, because you don't really want to. There's some things that are very similar to other things that can be dangerous, especially in the carrot family. And some of the plants as well, some floral plants are actually very poisonous, so they can look very similar to something else. So it's best, really, I'd advise to go with somebody who knows the area to start with. But then then once you know a few things, you realise in your garden and in people's lawns, especially in Europe, there's so much wild herbs that grow on your doorstep that you don't realise. I did an event for the Close to Sustainability Forum in Switzerland last week. And one of the local foragers we were working with, she doesn't buy salad. She says, why should you buy salad? We're surrounded by it. And not only are we surrounded by wild food, such, people know dandelions. Dandelion is probably a great place to start. It's one of the incredible superfoods, such as nettles. Dandelions and nettles are two of the things that are very simple to identify and have. A portion of nettles has more magnesium and iron than a bucket full of spinach. So these wild superfoods have not been industrialized over the last 300 or 400 years. They are in their purest, rawest form. So they're incredibly packed full of loads of macro and micronutrients that we would need that we're missing as well for biodiversity. One of the key things that we're focusing on with the Chef's Manifesto, and I've been focusing on over the last year, is using, we can tackle some of those wild foods and get more colors. We've heard we should eat the rainbow. Through that, if we get many different of the 30,000 plants that are out there, we're eating about 100 of them. So there's another 29,900 plants that we should be tapping into. Even a fraction of that will be really beneficial for our health.
Yeah. Lauren mentioned something in the chat. Do you want to tell us a bit about it?
It wouldn't make sense if no one has seen Phantom Thread, but there is like a foraging scene that's really, really interesting. And basically she was foraging for mushrooms, and she was trying to make her partner really ill because she wanted him to be sick so she could take care of him and basically just dominate his life. And she was looking for the mushrooms, and the professional forager said, I think it's like if it's orange underneath, then it's poisonous, right?
Well, no, a lot of them, if they're white underneath, they can be.
White.
But orange, with orange and green, they're the Bellet family, which porcini comes from, or penny bun, or ceps in French. They're yellowy orange, and they sort of go green underneath. But I haven't seen the film, but I know that there are some you kind of want to avoid.
But now I'm just giving away the plot, so there's no use in seeing it now. But I guess as a consumer, how can we educate more people to know how to maybe do this on their own, or something that could get them more involved in awareness of
books out there? One of the leading writers on wild food and mushrooms and foraging. I have probably about 50 books on foraging. I'm actually teaching classes on foraging and bushcraft, on how to make your own charcoal, how to fillet and hunt and forage. We're doing courses in the UK and in Spain actually over the next few months and into next year. I think it's a key skill to learn, especially now people are locked in their homes, and learning what is out there in the wild on your doorstep or in your garden. I think is a key skill to have, especially when people are looking, for to spend their time in other ways. It's a great skill to learn. Even when once you learn a few things, people get really inquisitive, and you always want to find out more.
I think Ruba is asking what kind of foods in the carrot family are inedible.
Yes, well, you have there's two from what are edible. You have sweet cicely, you have parsley, carrots, cow parsley, but then you have hemlock, which is very poisonous and looks very similar to cow parsley, and also hemlock water dropworts, which is of the same family as well. And both of those will kill you within about 2 hours. So carrot families, there's those two main ones. But the things, you have the very delicious things, and there's like two in it that will, if you misidentify them, are lethal.
Wow. Okay, I wasn't aware of any products in the carrot family other than parsnips. So this is very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the carrot things you can eat, like carrot stalks and shoots, that make great pestos. There's many reasons for garnish. They're really pretty when you buy the whole carrots. But seeing them in the wild, those lovely fronds, the 5 variegated leaves, they can be misdiagnosed.
So
I can send you a link. I was saying I can send you a link.
The trainings what you are running both in the UK and Spain, are you targeting end consumers to take part on this, or chefs?
Everyone who's interested.
Okay, and how do you see the interest growing, or like who are the people who would be signing up for these trainings, and do you see any like improvement or curiosity around this topic?
From the work that I do, from my Instagram and other work I've done with other partners and chefs and foragers in this, I keep getting lots of interest online. People saying, where can I do this? See us outside in nature, building fires, digging fire pits, foraging in the mountains, in the hedgerows and fields, and everyone's like, I want to do this. So it's been built from that. People keep asking me that they want to do it, so I've created a platform around that. And then I've been speaking with other partners. I've got foragers, fermenters, different people who work in the sphere of like wild food to come on board and partner with me to build a team to deliver that.
That's very interesting that you mentioned social media, because in the first session today, we had one of our research teams joining us. We ran a research around nutrition inequalities and gaps worldwide. And one of the findings was how food communication could regenerate the food system. And we used the word communication instead of education, because we feel there are so many other channels than just schools and also home, what can influence your food choices. And let's be honest, social media is one of them. So how do you see the role of a chef actually evolving or changing over the past years? Because now you are not only in the kitchen, you are not that, person who we know is prepared our food, but we can connect the face to it and so on. So how do you see this role changing?
Well, the chef position, chefs and farmers are very key positions to implement people's diets on a global scale. So what chefs choose to promote, to use the ingredients can have, they can set trends, and sometimes positively and sometimes not so positively. So it is a very important role to hold and privileged to have, especially with larger followings. And over the last few years, I've seen people really, especially over the last year and a half, with the global pandemic, people are, thinking about the provenance of their food, where it's sourced from, how it's sourced, how much meat they're eating, where they get their vegetables from, and it's made people think a lot more. And chefs as well have now been thinking, rather than buying from my experience, I've seen that they're actually, wanting to know the provenance of their meat and fish, and also now with Brexit, buying locally in the UK, because the imported foods have now become very expensive. So now we've started to, something that I've always championed anyway, working with local farmers and suppliers, now is becoming, something that is having to happen because of the economic climate we have in the UK.
Yeah.
We also have a question from chat asking, what is the importance of knowing a foraging diet in our near future for youth especially?
I think, the rise in quite funny, a lot of the answers for the future are in the past. Our ancestors have been foraging for millennia, and that's how we've survived. And as you see in the industrialized diet post-war, when we needed to produce more food, we were very good at producing food, but we're not producing the right food. We're producing calories, but not a variety of macronutrients and micronutrients. And a lot of the answers are around us in nature. Well, all of the answers, I think, are in nature, on how to influence our diets in a positive way. So foraging, as part of that, learning what is in your local area. Obviously foraging changes around the world depending on where you're going to be. I have fortunate enough to work in different countries and seeing different flora and fauna around there, which is similar in many places, but some things that are very different. But yeah, if we can even tap into, even like if you change like 5% of your diet, make of those nutrients, your nutritional profiles of the superfoods, because most wild food is superfood that we have on our doorstep, where it can really have a positive impact on our diets.
Do you see any trends coming up that are inspiring you at the moment for, I guess, different forage ingredients that could be making their ways into novel foods or into these new superfoods?
I've seen a lot of pineapple weed. Actually, we have some. I just found some outside on the. I'll show you. If I have my Wi-Fi goes out there, it actually grows and it grows along the paths. There is and it tastes of pineapple. So you've got pineapple, citrus fruits growing in the British Isles, and also plantain is something else we've been popping up a lot with, which tastes of mushroom, and it grows everywhere. It's a wild weed that grows along footpaths and trodden down parts of the land. I'll show you some of this pineapple weed. But I've seen it coming on menus now. Pineapple granitas, pineapple weed granitas. Sorry. There you go. This is what it looks like. So it looks like little pineapples, and it tastes of pineapple. Citrus. You can use the whole plant. So this I've seen coming. I've seen this on about 7 different restaurants in the last few months. But yeah, so people are really, the more chefs, getting back to a question from earlier, promote wild food, especially through social media, the more that people find out about it, the more people look into it, and then the knowledge base grows, and all of a sudden people are starting to, I grow this. It grew wild on the path in my house, and I've actually put it into flower pots. I grow this in London. Yeah, it tastes incredibly well.
And so what recipe would you make with that?
You can use it in cocktails, you can extract. So these are the flower heads. Yeah, they do all taste of pineapple.
Well, so maybe I'll consider this for my research, because my master program we're focusing on a lot of like bioactive and different ingredients. So maybe if you're saying this is a trend, I'll keep it in mind.
And also, I mean, planting is a great one. Planting, planting, they're really good for medicinally for wounds, but also for, well, it doesn't like mushroom. It's green, but it's food. But that grows everywhere. You'll recognise it. We have about 4 that grow in the UK, and there's about a few different ones that grow across Europe as well. But also, I mean, it depends throughout the seasons. There have also been a lot of wild garlic over lockdown we've seen earlier in the year.
Ens veuen o no?
And I think we have one of our participants dialing in. Clara, are you there? If you're talking right now, you are muted.
So I'm back by the
Hello. I'm going maybe.
Hi, Clara.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, a little bit nervous because we are preparing some activities with the family and with children, and sometimes it's difficult to manage the time. But sorry, yes, I'm going to explain you what are we doing. Okay.
Okay.
If you are, agree. Okay. So I wanted to organize the climate supper with my family and make children to be interested around our food culture. My topic is about food waste and valuing natural resources, and I prepared some simple dishes to be to be appetizing also for the kids. And I think that it's the most difficult challenge. So I also organized some activity around this topic, sharing information about food waste and loss with different cats, and then trying to identify which ingredients are in each recipe. So I wanted to choose a few ingredients and trying to upcycling all of them. The ingredients are plátano, that are it's similar than banana. Then beetroot, cauliflower, and it's almonds. Yeah. So our meal, yes, I can describe something about that. It's a couscous salad of cauliflower stalks with toasted almonds, cherries, and cottage cheese. Also, I prepared some crackers of pumpkin and flax seeds with onion and some discards. It's discards from beetroot and the leftover of almonds. We can continue with, sorry, the salad is with pesto. The pesto of the salad is made with beetroot greens.
Wow.
Then here, yeah, it's an appetizer of peels of banana chutney. Here you can see fritters of leftover rice, beetroot, and cauliflower with smoked paprika. And I think that the last one, oh yes, okay, yeah, this one, it's a nice, nice, yeah, I hope so, iced smoothie of banana and almond drink with an almond and beet crumble.
Wow.
And finally, yes, we thought that the coffee grounds are, yes, very, yes, it's very usual in our kitchens. And I prepare some kombucha with coffee grounds. And so maybe, yes, I'm going to take, yes, now, and maybe we can ask somebody. We don't know. Okay, so Jordi, what do you think about this menu? And maybe you can explain something about the kombucha.
Okay, about the menu, it looks like really good, but we have to taste it now.
Yes, we are waiting for you.
We are all waiting for Clara to let us eat it. So in 2 minutes, we will tell you. But we were talking about that one of the things that
okay, maybe we can try it now. We can eat
yeah, we
now.
can start,
yes,
maybe.
if you are you agree? We can. They can.
Yes, yes, of course. Let's let everyone taste so we can get the feedback.
Okay. Oh yes, you can taste it. Yes. Do you want to say something, Oriol? I'm sorry, Jordi. It's your moment, your star moment.
Yeah. No, we were talking because when we always meet with all the family, there's always some food that is left. So our mom always do like a little meal for each of the sisters and brothers. So everyone comes back home with some food that is left from the dinner. So that's a really good way for not having food waste in that kind of meals that you prepare a lot of food. So I think it's really common, but we talk with the family that it's a good way to not throw the food.
Okay, this is yeah, family life. But no, it's okay.
He wanted attention. He wants to say his opinion.
Sorry, Julia, what are you saying?
No, I was just saying he wanted to say his opinion about the food.
Do you want to ask something?
No. So far, all good. Please allow everyone to taste because I'm very curious what they will say.
Okay, so
yeah. Sorry, Julie, because yes, there are a lot of noise and yes, we don't listen so well. Only just yeah, maybe can you repeat, please?
Of course, no problem. So what I said, maybe you can allow your guests to start tasting the food so we can ask how they like it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yes.
They already start. They already start.
Okay, we can ask you. What are you?
Què us sembla?
Què us sembla? Paprika. There are some paprika. Yes, in the fritters. Yes. No, això porta vinagre de poma. Apple vinegar. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because it's typical from India. It's very sweet and really. Yeah. Yes, okay.
Is that good? Is that good?
First.
Yeah, really, really good.
He started with the dessert already.
Alicia, ¿està bo? Sí?
Challenge, okay.
T'agrada? Okay, you understand, no?
Okay.
Plàtan.
Yes.
Clara,
Yeah.
may I ask you, why did you decide, like, how did you pick the ingredients? Like, why did you pick these specific ingredients?
Yes. We bought it to the local producers here in San Cebrià. We are in the this is the house of Jordi's fathers, and here it's very usual to go on Saturdays to the market, and yes, for them it's very usual, and yes, we went together today, and also yes, I collect some fresh herbs because I like it, and in my area it's very common to find it, and yes, it was easy to integrate in the menu. Yeah. And yes, I think.
And so on, you show us some card at the beginning, which were not the ingredients, but some facts. So what kind of cards and activities did you prepare?
Està parlant de les cartes aquestes.
Yes, okay. The
Darrere, perdona, les targetes no han quedat.
Sorry, we are, yeah.
Les targetes que tenia... Alicia, les targetes aquelles no estan. No, val.
Yeah, here. Okay, so it is in Catalan because all the family understand it, and it was like this is like different ways to use to think about how we can reduce our food waste in our home. To planificate, maybe where you have to buy in the moment that you have to cook, and then yes, some different. This is the ingredients because yes, we choose only 4, and here it's like a question that why it's important to reduce our food waste. Different reasons. And some some data. It's important to think about it. The recipes. And this is yes, like a final reflection, because I don't know, Jordi maybe can help me. It's like
Okay, it says the cooking, health, and environment.
Are concepts related that we can't.
Okay, this is like that we cannot forget or something like that. Huh?
Yeah.
If you choose them, if you combine them in a proper way, you can achieve really good results. It's something like that.
It's like a recipe, a recipe, and then yes, something, yeah, like that, and then they can take it and to their homes, and maybe yes, sorry, today I'm very nervous, and my English, it's...
No, Clara, it's all good. We understand everything.
Okay, thank you, Julia.
So did you prepare these cards only for today, or did you have them already? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
because with Jordi, yes, we are a little bit motivated sometimes, and yes, we thought that for children and for the family, because yes, it's not usual to stay all every week, and yes, we like it. These shows in our family.
That's amazing. Yeah. So I am very curious if they like the food, the kids especially, because I think it's very important they either like or not, and then if they don't like it, they won't
Yeah.
have it again. So, but I see
You
that
don't like? Okay, I don't pass the exam. Okay.
Arnau, t'agrada? Què és això? T'agrada? Què és plàtan?
Què t'agrada, Arnau? Jo és plàtan, fes m'agrada molt.
Fes Like it. Fes Arnau.
Que he's...
Mira,
Així
això
o així?
Oh.
Bueno, però això sí o no, Arnau?
Alicia, què és el que més t'ha agradat d'aquí? What is your favorite?
What is your favorite?
Okay, which one?
Which one?
Okay, I
This
think
is-
that is the banana.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
The
one.
smoothie.
okay. She
Amazing.
prefers that one. Yeah.
What about the older generation?
Okay.
Okay. The other generation. Okay. What are yes? What are you thinking
Quin és el que us ha agradat
Quin
més?
us ha agradat més?
Which one? Okay. Rosé says the salad.
The salad. Okay.
Okay.
Las frites.
Rice balls.
Okay. Rice balls. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
La Núria, el smoothie. Okay.
Okay. She says she likes all, but the smoothie is the best one.
Jo també, smoothie.
Okay, maybe smoothie is getting the first position.
És frites. Arròs amb platja. Sí? Oi. I la Rosa? Rosa Ramon? El cuscús? Cuscús salad?
Okay, couscous salad.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good. So they will take now the recipes and they will also make it at home, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we have to share, yeah.
Amazing. Clara, thank you so much. I love
Okay. I'm sorry for the chaos.
Perdoneu un moment.
Julia, maybe yeah.
Un segon només.
Yes, to say goodbye or yeah.
That's okay. So thank you so much. Don't be nervous. It looked all amazing. The cards are amazing. So now please go and enjoy your dinner.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Julia. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
and
Clara.
see you soon. Bye.
See
Okay.
you. Bye. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Ciao. Bye. So, bye. So that was a very nice Catalan dinner table we dialed into. I really liked the energy around the table. And now we have Irena, who is originally from the Czech Republic, but dialing in from Polica, and she's muted. Hi.
Yeah, I'm not muted anymore. So hello, welcome to Polica. Here is a big kitchen in a castle. So, and my theme of my dinner is today bread. So maybe let me first to tell you a poem I did just a few minutes before. And I will tell you later the story. So the poem is like this. When I was kid, I didn't eat my snacks made by bread and butter. So for this climate supper, I reuse bread to clear my sins. So the dinner begins. So let me explain. It was very it took me 5 minutes. However, I used to be very much, I used to waste lots of bread when I was a kid. I didn't like my snacks and I just hide them somewhere and they got rotten. So I feel like I have lots of sins from my childhood in terms of food waste. So today I made everything, I reused the old bread. So my first dish here is a garlic soup, and garlic soup is a typical Czech food, typical Czech dish, which is great in winter. Now it's summer, however, it's Czech, so I made it. And also we have here a bread, right? I will show you and explain you the taste later. However, we are having still here something to be done, or it's already done. We don't know yet. But also, like, the bread is on the bottom. Then there are layers of zucchini, and there is also other good stuff, such as
other good stuff. Okay.
Okay, so I think we will start to serve, but however, I will just show you the messy environment here. So here is Sarah, who is the founder of the Future Food Institute.
We already connected before. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
So she's just greeting you. Davide. So Davide is you are not directly from Polica, but you are here on vacation, right? And he is a future director, movie maker. Then we have here another one.
Ciao.
And Alessio, so maybe you
Hello,
can...
everybody. I'm Alessio. I'm from Lago di Como, Lake Como, northern Italy, and I'm here in Polica with this super nice climate supper invited by Irena.
Cool. So, you know, he came all the way down
from Lake Como for your climate supper.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Who are you?
This Julia.
Oh, hi, Julia.
Hi.
Hey there, how are you?
And here is Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi. And here's my boyfriend, Václav.
Hi. Nice to see you again.
He really helped me. So now we are going to serve the dinner. So we will show you how the soup look like.
Oh, I'm very curious.
Yeah. Do you do something similar in Hungary?
So
Like
is it
garlic
only
soup?
garlic in the soup, or what else is in the ingredients?
There are potatoes. There is like a bit of egg. It's the hidden egg, or
a hidden egg.
The special term. Yeah, a hidden egg. You barely can see it, right?
So you basically wait. So it's kind of like a mix of a lot of soups, because you have garlic soup and then you have potato soup with all the cumin and so on, and then we also have sometimes an egg soup where you literally just whisk one egg in the soup.
Yeah, exactly. That's
okay.
of the soup. So yeah, and we are going to serve it with the bread and with the cheese. Wow. So this one previously it was just a bit old and dried bread. However, we are going to just fry it a bit, so I think it will be crispy and it would be nice. It's just like ideal combination.
And the cheese in the Czech Republic, you also eat it with cheese?
Yeah, we eat a bit of cheese inside. We put it inside. However, we are not like cheese experts, so we just use a basic item. You know, for us, like anything what reminds cheese is good enough. But here, I just took some like local with like, which is also it's the consistency is similar to item, so I think it's maybe a bit more. Maybe it has more taste, but however it can be put inside. Yeah,
amazing.
So my guests are
already getting served.
They are
sharing your food, and you will have your dinner. Are you sharing some of the things what you heard in the boot camp with your guests?
Can you repeat the question, because it's
of course
kind of nice here.
So do you have a special topic you would like to discuss with your dinner guests?
Yeah, I will ask them like what is the food they waste the most, because for me it's typically the bread. As I said, I choose this as my main topic, and also the zucchini, because for example we have a garden in Czech Republic, and out of sudden during the summer we have lots of zucchini. So I think I waste zucchini as well, because nobody wants to eat that much of zucchini. So we give, you know, so that's my personal sin. However, I will ask them later. We will talk about the food waste, like after the dinner proceed. And
sounds good to me. So in this case, Irena, enjoy your dinner. Please post the recipe on chat so everyone knows how to make this garlic soup afterwards. And also, once you know what the others are wasting the most, I would love to hear that.
yeah, so enjoy. Thank you for joining and have a nice weekend.
Yes, thank you, Irena. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
And the meanwhile, we already have Ruben, who is most probably ordering or communicating with the waiter at the moment. So let's see what his climate supper interpretation is, especially related to the topic. Hi, Ruben. You are muted.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Hi. Very nice to meet you. So
Nice to meet you
I am
too.
very curious, what is your interpretation of natural resources and food waste?
Yeah,
And
wait,
what
I'll put
kind
you a
of
bit
waste
louder.
did you find in Portugal?
Yes, so the search was obviously an interesting one, as I didn't know I was going to be here at the Climate Supper, because I was going to be with friends in Portugal in 3 days who have their own botanical garden and all vegetable stuff. I'm like, okay, that's perfect to be with them. But then it was a week before, so I was like, oh, okay, I need to find this very local restaurant. I need to talk to the owners and get it all going. But because of COVID, they were a bit hesitant to talk to me like during the afternoon. But we just arrived, and it's a very cute little fish restaurant in Sagres. It's all the way on the aesthetics is that's my girlfriend. And we're here in this very little town, which is at the bottom, the most southern point in Europe. It's called Sagres. So it's very well known for its fisheries. And the dish that we ordered actually, is it's a rock bass. Yeah. This is one of he he just told me all about the history of the restaurant and about what they do to reduce food waste here. So it's actually pretty interesting. In this town, there's a big problem of street cats, it's not necessarily a problem, but they co-live in this town, and they say actually we use all our leftover fish, basically food from the restaurants, to give either to the cats or to a local a pork farmer. So he has a lot of pork, and they give all the waste. Because I was looking up on the internet today, it's like how do they use the fish bones or the skin and stuff? Because fish is, I think, a pretty hard ingredient to really use all the parts from. And then I looked some stuff up, and you obviously have a lot of stuff to do with the fins to make like soup. But I think there are ways of finding a local solution for their food waste is pretty good. But yeah, no, so we're here now, and I'm very excited to see the fish, so I can show it to you. But because the restaurant only opened just like half an hour ago, it's still starting up. So, but it was very nice seeing all of the stuff coming by today throughout the day. So I'm very curious about the other stories, and it's been great so far.
Amazing. So Ruben, I will still ask you a few questions before I let you go. You are anyway waiting for your food. So if not in this town, in this restaurant where you didn't have the chance to like manage your own menu, how are you considering not to waste so much food, or what are your actions, what you are taking to rather reduce that amount of food what we are wasting?
Yes. So basically, actually, my specialty lies in plant-based food and plant-based protein in specific. So one of the ways to reduce food waste is to use very efficient sources of protein. And because if I always use the example to tell my friends why I choose to be like vegetarian, it's like if you would tell an engineer that you have a system that you put in a lot of food and only 60% comes out, it's a bad machine. You would never use it. So, you know, a cow, you put all the stuff in, even chicken, pork, all the stuff that goes in, only a fraction comes out. So, and they always find it funny. It's like, oh, it's a pretty good example. Yeah, obviously, an engineer would never use that machine at only 60% efficiency. So that's why, for me, I always choose. I never buy meat, but if I also don't want to be inconsiderate in a way that I have a lot of friends who love to cook, and they make big dinners and they really try to get everyone together. And then I won't say I want like a veggie burger, because I say, like, you really appreciate the food, you put in so much time, I'll eat it. I just don't want to stimulate the purchase of it, the consumption of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's it's sort of a middle ground, which especially meat lovers really can sort of relate to, be like, oh yeah, well, I understand why you do that, and I want to try that as well, from time to time, you know, maybe 3-4 days a week. So in that way, I'm trying, here we go. We have food.
Yay!
Yes.
Hi.
Yeah, this, so we have a crab.
Yes.
Wow.
This is stone bass.
And this is stone bass. I thought it was rock bass, stone bass. Can you tell me a little bit about the food or the? Oh, you don't know so much. Okay. It's a bit difficult in English for the Portuguese.
That's okay.
Yeah, but this stone bass was caught here just like 20 miles north, and they basically buy it from the fishermen straight from the dock.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also, there's like 2 fish.
So
here we have this is the main man.
So my name is Steven. Hi.
Hi, Steven.
You're talking to the whole world right now.
I'm talking to the whole world
now.
Nice,
So please explain.
Nice to meet the whole world.
Explain in 2 minutes a little bit about what we have here and where it comes from and how.
Okay. So here on the left side we have a crab here from the south of Portugal. It's a typical plate here in South Portugal. The special is the inner of the head. We mix it with a little bit of beer. We don't do any mayonnaise or something in it. It's just the head and a little bit of beer in it mixed up. Put it on the bread. It's bread spread. Then we have here on the left, we have the corvina. It's also a typical fish here from our coast. It comes not directly from the Algarve, it comes a little bit more up from the Alentejo, who makes, it's right up of the Algarve. It's a really nice fish. What can I say
and
more?
The vegetables?
The vegetable comes here from the Algarve. It's the tomatoes, the cucumber, and the salads, and the onions. They come here from the Algarve. They are all prepared right here in our kitchen. Especially the potatoes, we buy it directly from a farmer in Margolet, which is near from Monchique. So we take it locally with our products.
Amazing.
It's almost possible.
Almost
local.
Thank you so much for the explanation.
Welcome.
So Ruben, I will leave you to it, not that it gets cold. So
thank you so much, Julia.
Please enjoy your dinner, and we see you soon.
Bye. Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. So I think we are approaching our final participant joining us. Amber, are you there? Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how's everyone doing today?
Very good. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Should I get going?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. My name's Amber Masoni, and these are my 2 very, very close friends who are like sisters to me. We've known each other for over 20 years, Michelle and Jessica. This is Michelle's lovely apartment in Costa Mesa, California. And we have prepared a beautiful spread for you today. Michelle and Jessica are very good at design and at production. So they helped me out a lot with setting up the beautiful plants and flowers, making sure the camera and lighting was right. So pulled in my crew for everyone doing their best skills. And so let's jump into the food. I thought we would start with our beverage, which is just some simple fresh made lemonade. It is made with lemons from my dad's tree, which is in Northern California, where I'm from. I was up there recently, and so I brought them down with me. And it has a sprig of fresh rosemary that Michelle grew here in her apartment. And then as I was driving down to Southern California, I took a stop at a farm stand in Gilroy, California, which is, fun fact, the garlic capital of the world. And yes, although I did not end up getting garlic there, but I did get some.
I was like, in this lemonade, you put garlic? That's your
Luckily not for them, no. And so I was able to pick up some beautiful cherries there. And then I got some avocados and some corn. And so the farmers there had grown the cherries and the corn, and the avocados they had sourced from somewhere in Central California. And so with the avocados and the corn, I prepared a little salad that I then served in the avocado shell to help with repurposing ingredients, because our group today is talking about reducing waste. So most of the ingredients and dishes have some element of reuse or use of ingredients that normally wouldn't be used. So again, the little avocado shell, the rest of the ingredients I sourced down here in Southern California, which I'll get to in a moment. So yes, so then I arrived in Southern California, and my friends and I went to this really beautiful farm and education center called the Ecology Center. And they have acres and acres of farmland, and they have apprentices who work there. They have community supported agriculture boxes that they sell. They said they went from, I think it was 200 to 800 CSA shares during COVID, which was really crazy to hear, but also that people were starting to try and source more produce locally, especially during the pandemic, right? And so anyway, it was great to get to support them and talk with them. So there we got some carrots. So I just roasted the carrots, and I wanted to make sure I used the carrot tops. So that is how we arrived at some carrot top pesto, which I've never actually tried before. And it's really delicious. So that also has a little bit of basil in it as well, which was from the farm also. The garlic I got at this ecology center, so it is still local. And yes, so the next ingredient and dish that we got at the ecology center was our beets. So I got some beautiful yellow golden beets, which I roasted, and underneath them are the leaves from the beets. So sauteed the beet leaves, and the farm stand also had some dandelion greens. Dandelions are normally a weed, and so they sell the weed leaves, and so I mixed those in with the beet leaves in a saute. And then it is also topped with some olive oil and vinegar, which we also picked up at the Ecology Center. Let's see, what am I missing? Oh yeah, so to conclude on the little avocado salads, there's fresh heirloom tomatoes and fresh onion as well. That was from that farm stand, connected with the corn and the avocado from the Northern California farm stand. All right, let's see. Oh, so our last dish, or two dishes, actually come from bananas. So of course, bananas are not local to California, but I would say they're quite a staple in most people's diets. Of course, going forward, that may not be the case, but here we have some classic banana bread made with some bananas, but in the effort to try and use a part of a food that we don't normally use, decided to try and cook the banana peels. So over here, we have some bacon banana. So it's banana peels that were marinated in soy sauce, garlic, olive oil, and maple syrup. So to try and kind of give them a little umami taste. And so, they're not terrible.
Okay, so how do they taste?
They're not, it's interesting. I think maybe if I marinated them a little longer, that could be the key for the future. And I think they were still like a little, they've hardened a bit. They were a little moist. So you really, I think you need to get the moisture out of them before you pan fry them. That's how I did it.
Okay, but I really like the idea. So it's just, you have to iterate it until it will
Yeah,
be delicious.
exactly. And that's what we have for you. Oh yes. And one last detail was that from the corn, we used the corn husks to tie around our little napkin set to try and use kind of an artistic reuse of ingredients.
That's amazing. I love to see that also the tableware was also part of the whole theme and how it was interpreted, because we had also Laura, I think, who had something similar on her table. Amazing.
Yeah.
So did you basically arrange the entire day around this theme, going to all of these different places to procure your ingredients?
Yes, we did. And we had a lovely afternoon at this farm stand. We ended up getting a loaf of sourdough bread there that had beautiful like sesame seeds on it. And that's when we got the olive oil and the vinegar. So we got to sit under this beautiful orange tree right next to some chickens and eat the bread after we had shopped for our foods. And we got to walk around the area. We got to talk they were actually preparing for a dinner that night. So they do dinners every Friday night, I guess. And so, especially during the summer, and now that COVID things are opening up more, they've been doing these more frequently. And they said it's just a lovely time for people to kind of finally start getting out in a safe way. And yeah, so everyone was kind of running around crazy trying to prepare, and it smelled delicious. But luckily someone was really sweet and took the time to chat with us and tell us a little bit more about their farm and their community supported agriculture program. And just there was an apprentice there. So they have, young people interested in organic farming. Oh, another fun fact is the farm is actually certified organic by CCOF, which is California Certified Organic Farmers. And I previously worked for them. And so I was very happy to see the sign and remind me of my love for that organization and just the community in general. It's a small world and really grateful to be part of it.
Amazing. Zambra, I have one more question.
Yeah.
And that's more for your guests, or rather your host, basically. So this whole concept about reducing food waste and the conscious food choices, did Amber show you something new today? Is there something what you might take and incorporate in your daily habits in the future?
Yeah, I'll start. So I will buy organic carrots, like what she had purchased at the ecology center, but I'd always toss away the leaves. And so I love pesto. So I feel like I need to know this recipe and then recreate it, because I love pesto on like my pasta. So that was something that I'll definitely utilize in the future. Yeah. And she's been one of the friends that I'll go to and ask questions about food, but like more sustainable foods, but also, getting nearby local farmer produce. So yeah, she's taught me a lot, but for this meal specifically, that was really unique. And so I want to utilize that in the future.
Amazing.
And for me, it was the avocados. I eat avocados almost every day. And I love the idea of reusing the skins for a little bowl. And it's just so much easier and so cute. It's such a great presentation, I think. And the little wrapped napkins. I mean, just the idea of making it look so pretty, but using the waste that we would usually just get rid of. I love that idea. I haven't tried the bacon. I'm a little skeptical, but if it's good, I'm sold.
Amazing. All right. And if I'm not mistaken, this is your brunch now, or like breakfast, or I don't even know how to, it's very early for you. So thank you so much for making the effort and dialing in. And I will leave you to it. Please enjoy. I actually, fun fact, for the very first climate supper last year, I also made a carrot top pesto. So it's kind of like coincidence. Enjoy your meal. It was lovely to have you here with us.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
And now with this, I think I will ask Justin if he can still hear me. Hi. So we arrived to the end of our list. And I just
Perfect.
want to hear what was your opinion about the participants and how they interpreted the thematic area into their dining experiences.
It's wonderful to see all across from Southern California, Portugal, and across Europe, how they've interpreted using natural resources and local produce. I've just actually finished mine quickly. Here's our salmon that just came out of
wow, we could sneak peek already before. I saw it while we were still having a conversation with someone else. It looks amazing.
It's all been cooked on all locally sourced. All the coal, actually, all the fire is from the woods. I mean, the wood is from the local area. We made charcoal earlier from it, so we made our own charcoal, which is less labor intensive. But yes, focusing on natural resources and supporting the natural local environment. We'll see what everyone has been and bringing to the table. So yeah, I'd like to look forward to seeing some of those recipes and connecting with some of the people.
I will make sure we collect the recipes and some images, and watch out for our Instagram channels, because I think we will overwhelm everyone with all of the footage we made today. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks for the Chef's Manifesto for being the crucial part of this climate supper. I think this was a great framework to give also to the participants to help them curate these experiences and have an amazing, amazing dining together with their own communities, families, and friends. I would like to thank my team, Lauren, Ruba, and Gian, who is not here with us anymore, but he was there for the first 2 sessions. Yes, I would like to encourage everyone to stay tuned. This is the 3rd week of our 4th Climate Supper and Food and Climate Shaper Bootcamp. And if you got interested, then please visit the Future Food Academy website and check out the upcoming bootcamps. We have one in person in Italy in September, and the next one will be on the 5th of November in a digital format. And there was one more thing. The first thematic area was nutritious food, which is affordable and accessible for all. Next week on Friday, we will launch one of our research initiatives and the outcomes of the research initiative online. So keep an eye on our space and get all the information what we got out. So thank you so much for everyone for being here today, and enjoy your meals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.